Hey everybody. Good morning, Coach. So maybe some opening thoughts here on Florida Atlantic Week.
Okay. Well, offensively they present completely different challenges than what we just faced versus Navy. This team throws it around. They're outstanding throwing the ball. They're balanced. They run the ball well. They've got athletes all over the field. They're very, very good at home. You know, they're 3-1 right now at home. So defensively, they're opportunistic. They've got a ton of ability on that side of the ball. They played some good teams very, very well. So we have a tough task ahead of us. Fortunately, our guys have been able to come back and get refocused, which is a testament, I believe, to their maturity and their belief in what we are trying to become as a football program here. So it's exciting to go out on a day like today after a really good win and just see them completely refocused, and shows their maturity. So we're excited about the opportunity. It's going to be a great day down there in Florida to play football against a really good football team.
Injury-wise, how did you guys come out of Saturday's game, and do you expect maybe Mel might see the field?
I expect everyone that's been either on the cusp or maybe went out to be back this week. We're in really good shape from a health standpoint, really good shape, especially given where we are at the end of the year. And I think that's a testament to our players and their commitment to coming back in here and, you know, getting in the training room with our athletic trainers and working really hard. Certainly our athletic training staff and our medical staff is top notch. So, you know, you combine those two things and you get a chance to get guys back, and they're motivated to play. They want to play. They want to be a part of going out and competing with their brothers.
Mel's played 4 games, so if he plays again, he can't.
No, Mel's played 3 games.
Does he play 3?
Yeah. Got hurt against Delaware, game 3, first quarter.
So he can play this week and still redshirt if he wants to?
Yes. Yes.
Coach, you talked about how tough of a test Florida Atlantic is. Can you talk about what you're looking for out of your defense going into this one?
Just want to win. You know, I want to do the things that it takes to win. We don't look at necessarily yards. We look at the scoreboard. And at the end of the day, we want to have more points than they do, you know. And, you know, it's going to take us playing at a high level of execution, elite level execution. I think maturity, compete like crazy, playing with great discipline, having great eyes, being able to put some pressure on the quarterback, who's a very good player, gets rid of the ball quickly. And they've got one of the top receivers in the country, you know, trying to do the best we can to contain him. And then certainly always it starts with stopping the run. So, you know, statistics don't necessarily matter. There are certain statistics that matter, but those are the things that we need to do defensively.
Coach, with this being the last week, are you tempted, at least for the regular season, you'll have the bowl, but are you tempted to kind of just everything is out there, let's empty the tank and make sure, whether it's strategy or guys playing, that we give full effort in this final week of the regular season?
No, we're not tempted, because that's what we do every week. That is our agenda every single week, whether it's the first game or the last game. It's empty the tank this week, and we'll refill it after the game, win or lose. We go back to baseline, we refuel, we reset, we reorganize, and we attack again. So it doesn't matter to us where we're playing or what point in the season it is. That's how we operate as a football program.
You've been perfect at home, obviously. You've also been a very good team on the road. Just in general, in your experience, what are the differences in playing at home? What are the biggest challenges in playing a road?
You have to try to do the best you can to maintain your routine, you know, because you have to get yourself both physically prepared and emotionally prepared to go out and play a good game. And when you're taken out of an environment that you're very comfortable with, sometimes that can be a little bit of a distraction. But once again, you know, we lean into the maturity of this football team. And we create a routine that is, even when we're on the road, that matches what we do at home, starting 24 hours before the game. You know, when we're at home, it's pushed out a little bit. It's like a 48-hour thing. But on the road, we try to make it exact to what we do at home those last 24 hours, given that we're in a different environment.
Jim, obviously your defense has a lot of new faces coming into this season. You said you weren't really concerned about it. And obviously, you know, they've gotten a lot better as the season's gone on. I guess, where have you seen the biggest improvements on the defensive side of the ball?
Through the year. Continuity, understanding of the scheme, confidence, based in the work that they've done, production. You know, you can, and I do look at some stats. I don't look at all stats, but, you know, defensively, we've been an attacking style of defense, and we've made big plays in terms of sacks and tackles for loss. We've made key interceptions when we've had to. There's always going to be things we need to improve, and we've worked really hard to address those things. So I'm just, you know, I'm pleased with the focus and the effort of our players because it means something to them. And they demonstrate that in every meeting, every lifting session, every practice, every film study, the way they approach their work, they demonstrate that the commitment is there and strong.
So would you say that your team has progressed as you wanted it to from beginning to this last regular season game?
It has progressed. It's never going to be exactly what we want. And I think if you put, there's no finish line. There's no finish line. You just put your head down and you just run as fast as you can, and you don't stop. And that's how coaches are built. That's how players are built. That's how competitors are built. So pleased, yes. Satisfied, no. A lot left out there for us, yes. Even when we think that we've reached the ceiling, we got to push it higher and keep going. That's got to be the mindset. That's a mindset of great competitors and winners, and that locker room is filled with great competitors and guys that winning is important to.
I know your focus is always 1-0 for the week, but if you go 1-0 this week, it'll be the 9th win. It's 2 years in a row with 9 wins. That's never happened before in this program's history. I mean, is that meaningful? Because you'll have a long break to refocus and everything. If you win, you kind of sit back and say,
Don't think about it. I mean, listen, I appreciate the question, but I'm going to just tell you, our focus is very, very narrow, and it stops at the end of the game. And then whatever happens after that happens where we are record-wise, we are. But we don't think about beyond that game on Saturday. And we don't deviate from that. We do the best we can not to deviate from that. So for me to stand here and give you an answer would be disingenuous to what I ask our players to do.
They kind of got the duo from Western Kentucky kind of a package there, the quarterback Belkamp and Messer. What makes them so good? Obviously, continuity for them, you know, playing. I mean, previously.
Yeah, they've played together. Quarterback is he's tall, he's long, he's a good decision maker. He's got really good arm talent, and he gets rid of the ball very quickly and accurately. And then, as you said, just having that history with their best receiver, you know, that comes through repetition in this offense. You see it. You know, there's a confidence level between those two, a trust between those two. That's a very, very good receiver. It's a very, very good quarterback, but they've got a lot of weapons all over that field. They've got a big physical offensive line. They've got backs that can run the ball. It's an impressive offense, and it's an impressive defense as well. You know, you see times when you just go, my gosh, I mean, these guys are something special, you know. So that's what we have to prepare for. You know, we have to prepare to play our best game against a team that we have a lot of respect for. Offensively, defensively, special teams, their staff, what they do, what they stand for, their record at home, all of those things. But the most important thing we can do is just play the best that we can play.
How have you seen a guy like Skylar Bell carry himself during this season, especially now with all the hype's kind of at its highest for him and for Joe? How have you seen him manage?
He's just steady as they go, you know. Every day he comes in and he gives great effort, he focuses, he doesn't say a lot, he's not boastful, he's not looking for attention. I think that he's a real leader by example on this football team because he's been able to, I think, monitor all the things that have come at him. And he's just like Joe, you know. We've talked about Joe a lot, just his maturity, how stable he is, how focused he's able to be, calm and a great decision maker, and the same guy every day, and that's how Skylar is. You know, there's a consistency, I think, that breeds greatness. And you're talking about Skylar, and you mentioned Joe. Those guys both live with that consistency. That's who they are. They've demonstrated that to us.
How have you seen that attitude rub off on the rest of the team, especially the younger guys who haven't really experienced this college football environment?
I believe it rubs off. You know, listen, Skylar and Joe are not big talkers, but the way they work, and everybody sees each other work. I mean, you know, when you're a team, I mean, you're always measuring what other people are doing, you know, in the weight room. You're seeing if somebody's putting forth tremendous effort, you know. or if they're trying to, cut corners. In meetings, you see who's slumping down in their chair and who's sitting up straight, who's taking notes, who's not, who's off their phone and who's on their phone when they're sitting in the locker room. Some guys are studying. Maybe, there's a tendency for some to be distracted. But when you have strong leadership that sets a great example every day, the young guys say, I want to be like that guy. It's very reminiscent of when I was in San Francisco with Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice was the greatest at the time, and you could still argue he is, but he was considered the greatest receiver of all time. But he was undoubtedly the hardest worker on the team. Impeccable in his preparation, impeccable in his effort on the practice field. And every receiver that walked in that building said, well, listen, I have this opportunity to be just like to learn from the best. I'm really not being very intelligent if I don't do exactly what Jerry does. So he didn't say a lot at all. But just everything about him said, I'm going to be the very best I can. I'm going to strive for excellence in everything that I do. And I see those same traits in these guys.
With Skyler a finalist or semifinalist for the Bolitnikoff, I mean, can you make the case he is the best receiver in the country right now?
I haven't watched other receivers. I can make the case that statistically he's the most productive receiver in the country. I believe he's number one in receptions. I believe he's number one in touchdowns. I believe he's number 2 or 3 in yards. So I think it's pretty easy to make the case that he's the most productive receiver in college football to this point this year.
In a program where you can't win a league championship, is there any satisfaction to getting a vote in the Associated Press poll this week? I mean, you did finally get some recognition nationally.
I don't know. I haven't really thought about that. I thought about your other question, like what are our goals relative to other teams' goals, because we don't have a chance to play for a conference championship. We don't have a chance to get the college football playoff. So I think that's why we're always one of the reasons we're so hyper-focused on our performance each week and maxing out each week, to get a vote, I think our goals are much higher than that, much larger than just getting a vote in the AP top 25 poll. When you see this program climb into those rankings, then we can talk about that. I am proud of this. There's only 2 teams in the group of 5, us and Tulane, that have played 3 Power 4 schools this year. And there's only 2 teams in the group of 5 that have beat 2 Power 4 teams this year, and that's us and Tulane. So, we wish we were 3-0. We're 2-1. That's behind us, and now all our energy is just on trying to prepare to do the best we can against FAU.
Jim, I know you're not thinking about recruiting right now, but in the sort of the scope of Skyler Bell and guys like Brian Parham and even last year Jaden McDonald and Jordan Wright, do those guys kind of give you sort of a recruiting pitch in themselves and just the way that they've been able to make an impact?
Yeah, they're certainly part of it. They're certainly part of it. I mean, the big thing is what you get to experience here at UConn with this staff and this program, and the way we're going to prepare you as a football player and as a man for the rest of your life. This is a staff that has NFL experience. We have verified proof that we can help develop guys that can get drafted into the NFL here and at UCLA. I think our record is very, very strong. We also show tremendous care to our players, and parents feel that when they come here. But when a player can click on a website and see numbers and see production out of a quarterback, out of a receiver, out of a running back, we have 2 linebackers in the top 10 in the country in tackles. We have a linebacker that's 3rd in the country in sacks and 8th in tackles for loss. Where they can see that production, then it resonates with them. And they understand that we are 2-1 against the ACC. And we have beat 2 Power 4 opponents, and we have beat 3 Power 4 opponents in our last 4 games. They go, hey, that's something I want to be a part of. And so it gives us more attention and gives us a broader reach and a bigger recruiting pool.
Did something change in the running game last week? You had gone 4 weeks where you averaged only 125. Was it just simply that you made more of a concentrated effort to run the ball, or is Cam feeling a little bit better, or did something change?
No, we made a more concerted effort to run the football. We blocked it up better. Cam ran well. Our opponent was struggling to stop it, and so we stuck with it. We've talked a lot about this and talked about it after the game, what balance is to us, and we felt like we needed to get into a situation where we were going to run the ball, and we were able to run it successfully, so we stuck with it.
Can you talk about the two backers that are in the top 10 in tackling? Is that by design? Is it their effort? Is it a combination? How do you get two in the top 10?
Well, first of all, they have to be really good football players that understand what their role is in the defense, their assignments, so they put themselves in the right position to make plays. Then they have to be physical and violent so that they can go make those tackles play after play after play. And then putting them in a scheme that's linebacker friendly helps. So it's a combination of those things. And then it's effort, it's effort to get to the football. It's a maniacal drive to get to the place on the field where plays happen, and that is at the football. So it's good to see. We good?
One more thing, if
Okay.
you indulge me, it's Thanksgiving. I want me to ask you what you're thankful of professionally and personally this time of year.
Oh, I'm thankful professionally that I have the opportunity to coach these young men that I get to spend, a lot of time with every single day. And personally, family, health, and happiness. I'm very blessed. Okay, thanks everyone.